roll out all of our new benefit options. We have a lot of new things to offer you as we have grown from 6 employees that we had last year when we went through this exercise now to, I think we had 94 yesterday when I checked. So we're growing quickly, and to our benefit, we're offering some really amazing benefits this year. So I'm going to introduce our brokers who are hosting our meeting today through Optimal Benefit Professionals. So Brent Tregaskes and Lauren Harward are the ones behind the scenes, kind of working diligently and done an amazing job for us. I'm very grateful to have them on our team. So I'm going to let them take it away and educate you all on our benefit options this year.
Thank you, Amy. Hey, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. Brent Tregaskes. We have the pleasure of seeing Lesson's growth and working in concert with Amy and some of the rest of the leadership team on decisions when it comes to what they're doing from a core benefits package offering. And we work with a lot of other businesses of similar size, some smaller, some larger, a lot of tech companies, some private equity. So we definitely keep a gauge on what companies are doing when it comes to their benefits offering. And it's really rewarding to be working with a client like Lessen that wants to continue to invest in bettering the benefit package and at the same time bringing costs down this year, which is a pretty rare thing for us to see. Even with companies that have the deepest pockets out there, we don't very frequently see benefits where deductibles are going down on the health plan or costs are going down. And it's really great to be able to be parlaying this message to everyone today, or who will be reviewing the recording. And I just did some quick math on one of the medical options for a family. On the least cost medical plan option, the family level premium on a per pay period basis is going down almost $115 a pay period, or close to $3,000 in a year. So that's your portion of it if you happen to have a spouse and kids enrolled on the plan with you. So that's a really exciting update. You'll see more of the specifics as Lauren goes through those. And then a reminder that there will be a Q&A session as well. If you are still going through the open enrollment process over the next week and a half, and you have questions that you would like to attend the Q&A session, Lauren will share the details on that. And I'm sure Amy's probably already sent some communication out on that. So at a high level, you're getting more options this year. So this plan year starts May 1st. And it will go through April 30th of next year. So May 1st of 2021 through April 30th of 2022. So I'm going to pass it over with Lauren. She does an awesome job giving a high level update of your options. I'll chime in with some commentary if I feel like there's something really important to share. And then if you do have questions, we ask that you hold those till the end, or you can type them in chat. That way we can follow back up with you if we don't have time to get to the questions during this live/recorded session. And again, the session is being recorded, so you will have the ability to review it afterwards if you really wanted to share it with your spouse, or what did they say during that meeting? So we'll make sure to make it available for you. So Lauren, I'm gonna turn my camera off and let you run from here on the benefit options.
Okay. So I'll leave my camera on for a second, and then I'll probably turn my camera off when I share my screen. But I just wanted to introduce myself. We don't get to do very many in-person things anymore. So I am Lauren Harward. I am a kind of the go-to for your benefits. As always, you can always go to Amy. Amy is so amazing. We're so blessed to have somebody as competent that she is. She is just awesome. But anytime that you have benefits questions, you can also come to me, and our information is listed on the benefit guide. So I am going to share the benefit guide with you. And then I'll probably go ahead and zoom in when we get to specific pages just because it's going to be kind of harder to see. But this is the Lessen benefit plans that start on May 1st of 2021. So we have some information. This kind of just references some information at the end, kind of some federal notices that we're required to give to you. They are not exciting to read and go through. However, they are things that are important for you to see. So those are all at the end. So we've got a little table of contents here that just kind of goes over all the things that are contained in this benefit guide. Now, you don't have to take copious notes on the benefit guide or anything like that. This benefit guide is available to you in Ease or in your intranet in Notion. So you can download it, save it, print it, whatever you want to do with it, but you will have access to this exact benefit guide. And for anyone who, I don't know if anybody's on the call who maybe speaks Spanish, we'll also have that benefit guide available in Spanish as well. So some of the main things that we just want to hop into is eligibility, just as a reminder, as a new hire. Lessen, I mean, kind of through all of the things that we work with, is a really stellar employee or employer to work with. So your waiting period as a new hire, you are eligible on the first of the month following your date of hire, which is very generous. That's not common. So that's a big blessing. So that's great that when you're hired, you're eligible on the first after your date of hire. You can make changes to your benefits whenever you have a qualifying event, which is at your hire date or for open enrollment, which is every year on May 1st. And then if you experience some other type of qualifying event, marriage, divorce, having a baby, you could change your benefits and you would just reach out to Amy or I if you have any of those things. Now, this is just kind of a quick introduction of the plan, just kind of the benefits at a glance. So we've got 3 medical plans that we're going to be offering to all of you. Now, last year we had benefit plans through United Healthcare, and there were very, kind of similar plan options. United Healthcare, they also own a subsidiary that's called All Savers. All Savers is a self-funded thing that we have put together for your group. And the cool thing is, before you had a limited network plan that was free to all employees. So it was a plan that used a network called the Navigate Network. That is gone. There is no more limited network for your plan. You will all be able to participate in what's called the Choice Plus Network. So all 3 of these medical plans listed here are going to be run through the Choice Plus Network. It's a nationwide network. It is huge. You shouldn't have any problem finding network providers inside this network. So we have, like Brent mentioned, we've got lower deductible plans that will be free to you, and they will cost less than they did. Well, they were free to you for the employee tier, but the dependent tiers will cost less as well. And then with Principal, we're expanding a little bit. Last year we had Principal for dental. We'll still have that this year, but there's going to be 2 dental options this year, a richer plan and maybe just a plan that it costs a lot less and it doesn't have ortho if you don't care about ortho, that type of thing. So it's kind of a general overview there. So we're going to jump right into the next page, which is medical. So I'm going to kind of zoom in a little so you can see those plan options a little bit better. Now, just let me know, Amy, if you can let me know if any chats come up, because I'm in full screen mode, so I can't see any of the chats that come up in case I need to answer any questions. So these plans, we've got the first plan and the second plan that if you look at the bottom here, we've got the payroll deductions listed at the bottom for all 3 of these medical plans. And you'll notice that the employee tier, it is free for 2 of these 3 plans, which is awesome. I mean, seriously, to have it just be absolutely free to you for either one of these plans is really awesome. So I just wanted to kind of mention these first 2 plans. One of them is an HSA, you can open up an HSA account if you'd like to, which is a health savings account. And then the other is kind of your traditional PPO. So we're going to go through all those things, but just know in your mind that you can choose either of these first 2 plans and it will be free to you. So this first plan, it's an HSA. So that means that with a high deductible health plan like this, where you can open up a health savings account, the main thing to remember is you are going to pay for everything. Like everything that comes up, you're going to pay for that after the carrier discounts it until you hit your deductible. So this is a plan that you need to be prepared if you have, maybe you have prescriptions that you take every month or something. If you go to a doctor's office visit, you're going to pay for that full prescription and the full doctor's office visit until you hit your deductible. And in this case, the deductible for this plan, and it's in this little line right here, the deductible is $3,500 for one person, or if you enroll family members, it would be up to $7,000 for a family. So we're going to kind of go through these little things at the top. What the preventative care for all three plans. Preventative care is always free. So that's something that you should not have to pay for when you're going in for your annual preventative exam. And just know that you should be going in for your annual preventative exam. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's such a good way to just kind of keep tabs on where you're at. I know that, well, I'm married, and my husband sometimes does not want to know where he's at. But it is something that it's definitely good for you to be able to catch early, anything that might be going on. And it's good for the group, because if you can catch any health conditions that you have early and get them treated and taken care of, it decreases the claims for the group. And when claims go down, then the cost of the plans go down, which is beneficial for everyone. So preventative care, all three plans is free. For primary care visits, now on this first plan, this HSA plan, same thing for primary care and specialists. You're going to pay your deductible first, and then once you've met your deductible, that $3,500 deductible, then you would pay normal office visit copays. So if you've met your deductible, then your primary care visits would just be $25 for a primary care or $75 for a specialist. Now, All Savers, the company we're running the plans through, they have a kind of a relationship with a Teladoc company called Healthiest You, and they are awesome. It's a company where for all you have to do if you want to have a virtual visit or it's a Teladoc call. So if you're feeling sick and you're at home and you don't want to go into the doctor's office, you can call this 800 number. And they will answer, they'll get your information. And then within 10 minutes to 2 hours, they have an actual doctor call you back. Usually, my experience, I've used this a ton, and it usually happens in about 10 to 15 minutes that somebody calls you back. They can treat you over the phone. So if you think about all the doctor's office visits that you go into, it's really not that common that they actually touch you or need to, feel anything. Most of the visits, they just ask you questions. Now, with a Teladoc visit, they can use the video function. So you can do a FaceTime chat with the doctor, and they can look at maybe a burn or a spider bite or something that you have, or they can see a laceration if you got cut or something. But there are things that they can do, and it is free for all three plans. This Teladoc, the Healthiest You. You call the phone number, they call you back, and it is free. And it's free for everyone in your household. So it's a really nice benefit that you can use, especially in a time where maybe a lot of people don't want to go outside or don't want to go to the doctor's office where all the sick people are. So this is a really, really good thing to use if you are able. Now, obviously, if you're having an emergency, a heart attack or something, you don't want to call the doctor there. But this is going to be great for probably 80% of the things that you're seeing for. Now, on this HSA plan, for urgent care, same thing as the primary care office, specialist office. You're going to pay your deductible first, and then you'll be subject to the co-insurance. So with all of these plans, the deductible is $3,500, and then you pay what's called co-insurance until you reach a max out of pocket. So $3,500 first. Your co-insurance is 20% on this plan. So you're going to pay 20% after you meet your deductible until you reach what's called the max out of pocket. So the max out of pocket is you won't be asked to pay more than this amount in the plan year. So The max out of pocket for this plan is $6,900 for one person, or it's $13,800 for a family. So for almost everything that you have done on this plan, with the exception of the preventative care and healthiest you teledoc, you're going to pay your deductible. You're going to pay your 20% share after that until you reach $6,900 for yourself. For hospital care, same thing, deductible and co-insurance. Prescriptions, same thing, deductible and co-insurance. And you do want to check anytime that we change plans. You do always want to check to make sure your prescriptions are still in the tier that you're expecting, in case you need to go back to your doctor and ask them, hey, do you have a generic you could prescribe or something like that? It's always good to check on your prescriptions. Now, if you go out of network on this plan, so in network, your deductible is $3,500, but if for some reason you visit an out of network provider, your deductible jumps from $3,500 to $5,000, and it is a separate deductible. So even if, let's say you had, I don't know, a surgery early in the year and you met your in-network deductible, and then at some point you went to an out of network doctor, that starts a whole new deductible. And that deductible is $5,000 for you or $10,000 for your family. Then your co-insurance, if you go out of network, is higher. It's 50% instead. So you would pay $5,000 first, then you'd pay 50% until you reach your out of network, out of pocket of $13,800. So I can't stress enough, when you need to have something done, whether it's a doctor's office visit, going to have a surgery, whatever, check to make sure that everything is in network. And we have listed at the back of this benefit guide all of the carriers and websites and everything, so that you're able to log in and check to make sure your doctors and your facilities are in this network. Now, just so you know, it's still the Choice Plus network. So if you had the Choice Plus plan before on your medical plan, then it should still be in network. That should not have changed. Let's go to the second plan here. So this plan is also free for employees, for the employee tier. This plan, similar to the other one, preventative is free. Now, if you go to a primary office visit, this plan, you just pay a general $25 copay for an adult. And if you have children under 19, then there's no copay for a primary care office visit. If you go into a specialist office visit, you're going to pay a $75 copay for a specialist. Like we said before, the teledoc is free. And if you go to an urgent care on this plan, it's a $50 copay. Now, emergency room for all three of these plans, it's kind of like a triple doozy here. You're going to pay the deductible, you're going to pay your co-insurance that applies to the plan, and you're going to pay a $300 copay. So right off, you pay $300 if you go to the emergency room, and then you'll also pay your deductible and your co-insurance. So if you can avoid the emergency room, please do. Obviously, it's there for emergencies. But if it's something where you can do an after-hours clinic, or you can find, I know that there's Goodnight Pediatrics that some people see for their children. There's just different options that you can do that will allow you to go to urgent care, or, different things if it's not something that you need to be in the emergency room for. Because not only do you have to pay the deductible and that $300 copay and your co-insurance, but you're also there a long time. I mean, emergency rooms have very long waiting times, so it's inconvenient for you as well. So do try to avoid the emergency room if you can. Now, the deductible on this second plan that's free to you, it's a PPO plan. It's a $5,000 deductible. So for you, and then it's a $10,000 deductible if you have family members. Now, your co-insurance on this plan, though, once you meet that deductible, then everything should be paid, for the most part, 100%. Now, you'll see that the max out of pocket on this plan is $7,900. And you might think, well, if I pay my deductible and it's covered 100%, why is the max out of pocket higher? And that's just because the max out of pocket includes copays and drug copays and that type of thing. So, so you might have drug copays and office copays that go towards that max, but once you hit $7,900 on this plan, you wouldn't pay anything, including the copays. Now, for hospitals on this plan, so you would pay your deductible and then your coinsurance is zero. So if you have to go inpatient or outpatient on this plan, it's subject to the deductible and the coinsurance. Okay, prescription drugs on this plan. So on this plan, there are just the typical drug copays, and there are 4 drug tiers on this plan. So again, do check to make sure you know which drug tier your drugs are falling into, so that you know whether you would like to look at some lower tiered options. So the drug copays on this plan are $15 for tier 1, $35 for tier 2, $75 for tier 3, and $250 for tier 4. Now this is the case for both this plan and the next plan. They have the same drug tiers for plan 2 and plan 3. Now, if you're taking medications that you take, they're maintenance medications where you take them every month, definitely get that set up on, if it's not already on a mail order, so that that's something that can save you some money, since it is cheaper to do the mail order than it is to have those prescriptions filled every month. Now, on this plan, if you go out of network, instead of having a $5,000 deductible, it's going to jump to $10,000. Instead of having no coinsurance, you're going to pay 50%. And then your max out of pocket, if you go out of network, is $15,800. So again, just don't go out of network if you can avoid it. Okay, last medical plan. Last medical plan is a $1,500 deductible plan with 80% coinsurance that All Savers pays. So going through here, preventative is free. If you go to a primary care office visit, similar to Plan 2, it's a $25 copay for you, or the children under 19 will be free with no copay. If you go to a specialist office visit, same as Plan 2, it's a $75 copay, and the teledoc is free. Similar to Plan 2, the urgent care visit is $50, and we already talked about how all 3 plans cover the emergency room, where you pay the $300 copay, your deductible, and then any the 20% coinsurance on this one. So $1,500 deductible for you, or a $3,000 deductible for your family. And then once you meet that for maybe inpatient or outpatient hospital procedures, you'll pay your deductible, $1,500, then you'll pay 20% coinsurance until you reach your max out of pocket, which on this plan is $4,000 for you, or $8,000 for your family. Like I mentioned before, the prescription drugs are the same as Plan 2. It's $15, $35, $75, or $250 for Tier 4. And then we've listed the mail order cost as well. If for some reason you needed to go out of network on this plan, your deductible would go from being $1,500 in to $3,000 deductible out of network, or $6,000 for a family. You'd pay 50% up to the out of network, out of pocket max, which is $8,000. Now, the costs for these plans are listed here. So again, it's free for the first 2 plans for an employee, and then it's $43 for an employee if you were to choose that richer plan, Plan 3. Amy, did any questions come up on these plans before I move on to the HSA?
Lauren,
yeah,
I'll chime in. I don't see any questions that popped up, but I did want to mention something, if you can stay on the screen.
Yeah.
The individual versus family deductible on all these, the 3 plan options that Lauren just did a great job reviewing. The important thing is you can see where it says annual deductible in the gray row, it says max reached individually. So even if you enroll with family coverage, one individual does not have to reach the full family deductible or family out-of-pocket maximum. It's where you have the lower level deductible and out-of-pocket maximum, even if you have family coverage. The reason why it has that higher number is if, let's say an example of the whole family, God forbid, gets in a car accident, and there's a family of 5, and each person hits a small portion of that deductible, that's the whole purpose of the family deductible being capped at a certain threshold. So the key takeaway there is that even if you're enrolled with dependents, with children or your spouse, is as an individual, only one person has to meet that own individual level deductible. So I just wanted to add that commentary
I appreciate
for
that.
everyone's purposes.
Okay, so like I mentioned, this first plan 1 is an HSA plan. So that means that it is, because you have to pay for everything up front on that HSA plan, we like to give you an option to save for that. And this is an amazing benefit that the federal government actually allows us to do, which is nice. With an HSA plan, you can make pre-tax, or you can have money taken out of your paycheck pre-tax to go towards an HSA account. And what that does is, this HSA account, some of you might have had HSAs before or something similar, but you can say when you're enrolling in ease this over the next week or so, you can just let this, put it into the system. I want to have, I don't know, $100 taken out of my paycheck. And then you can give Amy Boyson your account number, because you have to open up a specific HSA account if you want to do that, if you haven't already. Some people already have one set up. So you would open up a specific HSA account that's just for funds for this type of thing. You give Amy your account number, routing information, and then every paycheck, they can take money out of your paycheck and put it into this HSA account. And this can be used for any eligible medical expenses. So and it's not just medical, health expenses. So you can use it to pay for co-pays. You can use it to pay for surgeries. You can use it to pay for dental visits, glasses if you have vision coverage, that type of thing. So anything that you have for your health, and there are lists online of HSA eligible expenses that you can look up, but you can use these funds. This is, the government doesn't give you very many options to do things without being taxed. So this is a really great chance for you to pay for your health insurance like you normally would, but not be taxed on it. You're saving, a lot of people are going to be saving 25% of the cost of healthcare by doing it this way. So this is a great chance to take advantage of having some pre-tax savings come out of your paycheck. I know for me, it's pretty easy for me to say, you know what, I'm going to do $25 per paycheck. I don't even feel that. But it's almost like a blind savings, where you can have that go into your HSA account, because HSA funds are yours forever. This account will always be yours. It's not the company's, like maybe an FSA might be. An HSA account, you can use it forever, and the funds don't expire. It's not like a use it or lose it kind of thing. It's something that you can always have. And even if you had, funds in there when you retire, that can transfer into retirement accounts. So it's something that there really isn't a downside to opening up an HSA if you're enrolled in Plan 1, the HSA plan. So Lessen this year has decided they would like to encourage you to do this, since this is such a great option. So they have offered to pay every month into your HSA account if you elect this plan. So they're going to contribute up to $250 a year. And that comes out to, I don't know, $20 and something per month that they're going to put into your HSA account for you. So pretty much they're just paying for at least your first, office visit or something. So that's very generous of them to kind of contribute to this and to get you started on this plan. Now, you need to know with an HSA plan that you cannot contribute more than $3,600 in the calendar year of 2021 for yourself, or if you enroll with your spouse or your children, you can contribute up to $7,200 in 2021 towards an HSA account. We kind of have you self-monitor this. You do need to be careful, because that counts. Like maybe you had an HSA previously, like right now you have the Lessen HSA plan. You want to make sure that whatever you're contributing does not exceed these limits: $3,600 for an employee, $7,200 for a family for the year 2021, because that is the max that the government will allow you to contribute. And that it does include anything that your employer contributes. So you can't personally contribute $3,600 and take the employer's contribution. You have to make sure that everything being contributed towards your HSA account in 2021 doesn't exceed these amounts so that you are in compliance. With this type of thing, there is where if you're 55 or older, you are allowed to make what's called a catch-up contribution of up to $1,000. So if you fall into that age bracket where you're 55 or older, that is an option for you. And the last thing I want to say about this is there are some people who are not eligible to contribute to an HSA account. So you do want to be mindful of that. We've kind of listed here some of the things where if you are entitled to Medicare, enrolled in Medicare, whether it's Medicare Part A that's free, any type of Medicare, if you are enrolled in, you are not eligible to contribute pre-tax to an HSA account because the government believes that they're already giving you a Medicare benefit, so they're not going to allow you to do this. If you're enrolled in TRICARE or some type of a government, maybe served in the military or something, that would not allow, that would, you know, be something that keeps you from being able to contribute. So just keep that in mind, and you can let us know if you have any questions on the HSA. All right, let's move forward. The teledoc that we talked about, this is just some information for you. So that teledoc benefit that on all three medical plans is for free. All you have to do is call this number. It's so easy. It's the little number here listed, 866-703-1259. You call them, give them your information, and they have a doctor call you back. It is literally that easy. And you are able to get an app on your phone, or you can log in, you know, online on your computer. You can upload your medical documents, your medical history to them so that they've got everything on hand. If you're worried about, well, I really want them to know about, you know, these medications I'm taking or this, whatever, medical condition I have, so that they have context for you. You can upload those to a secured site with Teledoc, the Healthiest You Teledoc. So that's something that you can watch for. All right, we're going to move on to the dental options with Principal. So Principal is the same company that we had before, so it's the same website, but this year we're just offering some additional perks here. So the plans that we have, Lessen is still paying for half of this dental low plan that we've got here. They're still going to pay for half of your cost on that. So the two plans that we are offering, there's one that has, we're going to kind of just do them a little bit side by side. It might be easier. We've got the dental low plan that has $1,000 annual max, and then a dental high plan that has a $2,000 annual max. So you just need to figure out, what do I think I need to have done this year? And you can choose which plan you want. I mean, maybe this year you're good, but, you know, maybe next year you'll up it if you have to have, you know, a crown or a filling or something like that. Well, I mean, you can have fillings and crowns on both plans, but just depending on how much you want available to you. Now, on both of the plans, if you have anything done that's not a preventative type service, then you'll pay a deductible. It's $50 for yourself, or it's $150 for a family. Now, I have a list of dentists that I know waive the deductible. So if that's something that you can ask your dentist, you could say, hey, are you willing to waive the deductible for me? Because I know of dentists that will do that. Don't ask your dental hygienist. They usually will tell you, no, that's not something we do, but the dentist wants to keep your business. So if they think, oh, geez, they might go to a place that is going to do that, all of my dentists are willing to waive the deductible for me. So don't be afraid to ask for things like that. So it lists here preventative exams, cleanings, x-rays, sealants. All of those items are covered 100% as long as you stay in network. If you go and you have basic services, that's going to be, you know, fillings and that type of thing. You're going to pay 20% on the low plan after you pay your $50 deductible. And then principal pays the rest up to your annual max of $1,000. Now, if you're on the high plan, you pay nothing after the deductible. So it's going to be free as long as you're in network. And again, similar to the medical, we've given you the website up here. Go to the website and make sure that your dentists are in network so that you can get these in-network benefits, because the out-of-network benefits are not equal. Just because even if it has this, even if it says, oh, but out of network, it's still covered, you know, you still only pay 20%. You pay 20% of a specified amount. So we're going to go over that in just a minute. So on the low plan for basic services, you pay 20% in the low plan, or you paid nothing on the high plan after the deductible. Periodontal and endodontic services, those are services that they kind of switch around as to whether they're going to be considered a basic service or a major service. So, and that is the case here. So we just wanted to mention that on the low plan, if you have periodontal work, you'll pay, it's a part of the basic services. So you would pay 20% after the deductible. And it's the basic services for the high plan too. You would pay nothing after the deductible. However, endodontic services are considered major on the low plan and basic on the high plan. So endodontic, you would pay 50% after the deductible on the low plan and nothing after the deductible on the high plan. So major services, again, 50% on the low plan you'll pay, and you'll pay 40% on the high plan. So the high plan has a nicer co-insurance for you. On the low plan, hang on, get a little drink. On the low plan, the orthodontia is not covered. So keep that in mind. If you were looking to have orthodontia set up for one of your children who are 19 or under 19, then it's not covered on that low plan, but it is covered on the high plan. So orthodontia is covered up to $2,000 on the high plan for your children up to age 19. So if that's something that you're considering, then keep that in mind. Make sure you remember that orthodontia is not covered for adults on either of these plans. So if you're looking to have orthodontia set up for yourself, then neither of these plans are going to cover that for adults. The dental benefits on the low plan. So we've listed here at this bottom section here that the low plan has what's called MAC, or maximum allowable charges. And then the high plan has something called UCR, which is usual and customary and reasonable levels. So on the low plan, if you go out of network, it's going to be covered based on what principal says is maximum allowable charges, so, which is pretty much what they're willing to pay an in-network provider. So if you go out of network, then they'll only reimburse whoever you're going to what they would reimburse somebody who is in the network. And sometimes your out-of-network dentist charges a lot, and you would be responsible for paying anything above what principal has reimbursed them. Just because principal doesn't have a contract with them. That's why it's dangerous to go out of network, because if principal is only going to reimburse, let's say $400 for a root canal, and your dentist charges $1,000, then you are going to pay the additional $600. So just be very careful about that. Now, the high plan, though, they pay what's called UCR, which is they're going to pay what's in the 90. So principal takes what 90% of all the dentists will charge for whatever service, a root canal, a crown, and they'll pay what 90% of dentists, charge. So they do. It is a higher out-of-network benefit. So if you plan on going out of network, this is probably the plan for you, just because they do reimburse better when you're visiting an out-of-network dentist. The cost for these plans is listed up here in this little sheet, where we've got $5.83 for an employee on the low plan, or $15.41 for an employee on the high plan. These are per paycheck amounts that are listed. And then did any questions come up on the dental before I move on to the vision coverage?
No questions on dental.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to vision. Vision did not change. It is still with principal, and the plan is still the same. So we've got the website here where you can search for your vision providers. The cost for you if you enroll in vision is going to be $1.68. That is so low. And again, Lessen is paying for half of your costs, which is very generous. They pay for all of your medical costs and then half of your dental and vision. They are awesome. Okay, so our vision plan. If you go have an exam, you're going to pay a $10 copay. And if that's all you have done, then you should walk out and you pay $10 and that's it. Now, if you're in the office, now sometimes they will ask you, hey, do you want to have a field vision test, or do you want us to dilate your eyes and check out things? There are definitely reasons to have a lot of those things done. And you can ask them, how often, is this covered, or how much does it cost? Because a lot of those things will have a fee associated with them. Some people go to the vision office and then they leave and they're just floored that, oh my gosh, I just paid $500 for this and I don't know what's going on. It's because there are a lot of additional options at the vision office to make your, I don't know, whether it's for glasses or getting the test done. I mean, some of them are necessary. And so it might be something that you choose to do, but definitely ask them before they, do the test. How much is it going to cost on my plan? They can look that up for you. So the exam's $10. If you were to get frames, if you usually wear glasses, then your frames are covered up to $150. And then after that, if the frames cost more than that, if you like Gucci or Oakley or something like that, you'll get a 20% discount on anything that's over $150. Now, if you are getting, obviously, lenses put into your frames, then lenses are covered with a $25 materials copay. So, and that copay is going to cover your basic lenses. So that means single vision, lined bifocal. So if you do, you're a little fancier and do the progressive, that's great. But progressive does cost a little bit more than the regular $25 materials copay. Lined trifocal is a basic lens, and then lenticulars. Now, if for some reason, maybe you're a little bit blind and you need a pretty strong prescription in your lenses, often the frame you pick can only accommodate a lens that's so thick. And so there are times where they might need to give you a special material for your lens to allow that lens to be thinner and lighter, because you don't want this massively thick lens sticking out of your frame that's heavy and makes dents on your nose. So a lot of times they'll say, hey, it's going to cost, I don't know, $60 to put in this other material that's going to make it lighter and thinner. Do you want that? And then you can just decide. So that's often where some of the extra cost comes in, is they're trying to make your lenses lighter and thinner for you, or more convenient. And then additional to that, principal will discount most of this stuff, but they'll say, hey, do you want a scratch coat because you drop your glasses all the time? Or do you want, a tint on it because, I know that there's, tint for people who are on the computer all day, which is most of us. And there'll be, some kind of a glare coating so that if you drive at night and you don't like the ghosting or whatever. So there's all those extra things that they're going to offer to you. And you just have to decide which ones are worth it. And do you want to pay whatever they tell you it's going to cost? And it is discounted again, but there are still fees associated with some of those things. Now, if you get contacts, if you have contacts instead of frames, that is a different type of exam. So you're going to want to tell them in the beginning, I'm having a contact lens exam, because the contact lens exam is going to cost up to $60. Now we say up to just because some of the contracted providers with principal, they don't charge $60, but they can charge up to $60. So it won't be more than that for your contact lens exam, just because they have to measure your eyeball and find out all kinds of things that will make the contact fit well. For contacts, similar to frames, your contacts, you have an allowance of up to $150 for your contacts on this plan. Now, if you wear both frames and contacts, each exam, you just have to choose one. You have to say, this exam, this year, I'm going to have a frame exam, and the next year I'll do contacts, or something like that. Now, you'll notice in each of these, the exams, frames, lenses, contacts, you get those every 12 months, which is nice because a lot of vision plans will only give you frames every 2 years. So this plan is a nice plan. It gives you new frames every year if you'd like. Now, you don't have to get frames every year. You can have them just put new lenses into your current frames if you really love them, but you do have the option of obtaining frames every year. Lastly on this, if you were to go out of network for your vision, so I know there are just a ton right now of, like my daughter just filled prescription online using an out of network vision provider. They will reimburse you up to $45 for an exam if it's out of network. They'll reimburse up to $70 for frames, up to the amounts listed here for the lenses that you have put into your frames, and then up to $105 for out-of-network contacts. So you can definitely use out-of-network benefits. You're just going to have to file that claim and be reimbursed up to those amounts. Any questions on the vision, Brent, that popped up?
No questions on the vision, but just a quick time check. We are going to probably go, we started a few minutes late as we were waiting for folks to join. So we're going to probably go about 15 more minutes. If you have a commitment, just remember that this recording will be available for you. So we're going to make sure to cover everything. But if you have another appointment in 10 minutes or so, wanted to just share that. And Amy was fine if we go slightly over so we can make sure to cover everything.
Okay. And the rest of the benefits, they do go pretty fast. So, but I do want to make sure to mention, like with life insurance, you guys had voluntary life before, but you did not have basic life insurance before. This is new and the company is paying for it, which is awesome. I mean, they just really upped their game this year and are taking care of their employees really well. So your basic life insurance, it just means you get $25,000 in life insurance if something happens to you and you were to pass. So be sure when you're enrolling in EASE to designate a beneficiary who would receive this if in the case of your death. And preferably make that somebody who is at least 18 or over so that it doesn't get stuck in probate and that type of thing. You don't want to make your beneficiary your 3-year-old daughter because she won't get the funds. Make it clear and easy so that if something happens to you, those funds are easily granted to your beneficiary and they can take care of your estate. Now, the voluntary life, even though you had it before, it has been enriched this year. So you now have higher limits, you have higher guaranteed issue, and it's something that you can take advantage of this year because Principal is granting what we're calling a true open enrollment. So if you already have benefits or if you didn't elect voluntary life coverage when you originally elected, that's okay because right now on May 1st, you can elect up to the guaranteed issue with no questions asked. You don't have to fill out that medical questionnaire. So we're going to go through those amounts for you. Now, keep in mind the benefits with your age are reduced when you reach age 65 and again at age 70. So if you fall in those age brackets, the benefits do reduce slightly. Okay, so for an employee, the maximum amount you can elect for voluntary life is $500,000. It goes in increments of $10,000. And it's guaranteed at $150,000. So any employee for open enrollment can elect up to $150,000 for themselves without answering any medical questions. This is awesome, and it's not going to happen. It usually doesn't happen. So this is something where next year, this probably will not be offered to you as far as guaranteed issues. So make sure to take advantage of that if you'd like. For a spouse, the spouse can elect up to 100% of the employee's amount, up to $150,000. The spouse's increments are every $5,000, and the spouse's guaranteed issue for $30,000. So your spouse can have $30,000 in coverage with no questions asked. Now, children are guaranteed for $20,000. So they're in increments of 10. You can elect for your kids either $10,000 or $20,000 when you're in EASE. If for some reason you elect more than these guaranteed issue amounts, then you will be asked to answer some questions in EASE. It's just going to ask, do you have any issues with this or this? And it'll just walk you through all the questions that you need to answer just so that they can determine, are you a are you a safe bet to offer this much coverage? Now, if you're asking for 500,000, it's possible that you'll answer these questions. They might want a paramed, just depending on some of the questions. So they might want to come out and do an actual exam on you to see if they can approve you for that. But that's something that just be aware that if you ask for more than 150,000 for yourself, 30,000 for your spouse, then you'll have to answer some medical questions. Let's move on to short-term disability. This is also a new product that is being offered this year. So short-term disability, this is an employee paid product where if for some reason that you were to go out on disability, whether it's you have a baby or you're injured or something happens where you're out, you have the option of enrolling and filing a short-term disability claim. So some things to keep in mind. The waiting period for this benefit is a 7-day waiting period. So if you are injured or ill, you have to wait 7 days, and then it would start paying on the 8th day. This will pay up to 25 weeks of a disability as long as your doctor says that you are disabled. It pays out 60% of whatever you make each week. It'll send you a check every week for 60% of your salary from the day that you went out. So when you went out on disability, if you were getting paid, I don't know, $1,000 a week, then it would pay you $600 a week for up to $2,500 per week. So it will cap at $2,500. And then the last thing to keep in mind with this for short-term disability is it does have a pre-existing condition clause. So they're going to look back 3 months at your medical history. And if you were treated, diagnosed, whatever, for some medical condition in the last 3 months, they're not going to cover that condition for 1 year or 12 months. But other than that, then it should cover your conditions. Let's move on to critical illness and accident coverage. So these are both new to you this year. So critical illness coverage, pretty much you just select a benefit that you want to be paid. It's like a big lump sum payment. You just say, I want to be paid anywhere between, it says here in the employee, $5,000 or $50,000 for you, or anywhere between $2,500 or $25,000 for your spouse. I want to be paid this lump sum if I am ever diagnosed with, one of these critical illnesses. Now, we've just listed some examples. There are others, but heart attack, cancer, major organ failure, tumors, strokes, that type of thing. If principal has designated it as a critical illness and you are diagnosed with that, they will just write you a check for this lump sum. Now, you can choose your amount. Ease will tell you when you're electing, if you choose this amount, here's how much it costs. You are guaranteed issue for yourself for $15,000 or for your spouse for $7,500. Now, if you want to enroll your children in this benefit, you absolutely can. They are free. Children are automatically enrolled if you'd like at 25% of whatever you elect. So, if you elect $10,000 for yourself, then you can elect for the children and they're going to be covered for free for a $2,500 benefit. So just keep that in mind. And the guaranteed issue, now this is another one where if you elect critical illness above that guaranteed issue amount that's listed, then you will have to answer questions. It's going to walk you through some questions in the EASE system. And also similar to the short-term disability benefit, there is a pre-existing condition restriction where they're going to look at your medical conditions for the last 6 months. And if you were diagnosed or treated for any medical condition in the last 6 months, they won't cover that for 12 months as a critical illness. Okay, the next benefit is the accident insurance. Oops. So the accident insurance, pretty much something happens to you, you're in an accident or you get hurt, you're playing soccer and you tear your knee, the ligament in your knee. Okay, they'll just give you different payouts for different things that happen. So we just listed some examples here. If, a cartilage or a tendon or a ligament with surgical repair would be $1,500. They would just write you a check. And these are things where even if it's covered on your medical insurance, they will still, they don't care if it's covered on the medical insurance. If it happens, they write you the check, and that's kind of the way that it works. So, you know, like a lower leg fracture, if they do it without surgery, they'll pay this much, and then they do it with surgery, it's this much. So it just kind of depends on what happens to you and how you have it treated. So that's something where that's really great for people who have active lifestyles or young children that get hurt a lot, that type of thing. That accident insurance comes in super handy, and it's completely reasonable prices. So you can see those prices while you're in ease. And again, all these products have detailed plan summaries that are in ease. So when you're looking at, you know, the cost for accident, there's going to be links for the benefit summary for each one of these items. So you can look at the benefit summaries for all of medical, dental, vision. All of these products will have a detailed benefit summary that you can download, print, whatever, save, so that you can check that out. Or if you want to share that with your spouse so that they can check it out as well and help you decide which plans that you'd like to choose. Okay, the last kind of benefit we're going to talk about is the Employee Assistance Program, or EAP. EAPs are something that are kind of underutilized, but they are amazing. They have such great benefits that are totally free to you. They're free for all employees. So it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, phone consultations. They can do mental health. They can do all kinds of counseling over the phone. They have all kinds of articles and tools. They can help you set up a budget. They can help you do, you know, there's different things that you can do on the mobile app. They can counsel for adolescent, you know, eating disorders and different things. So this is a really, really great benefit that all you have to do is call their phone number, and they can help you out with so many things. So don't be afraid to take advantage of that. And we've listed here at the bottom, it's got this information for Magellan, which is who is sponsoring this EAP. It's got the phone number at the bottom here, and you just give them your company name. So that's something that you should definitely take advantage of if you can. So we've got our little benefits contact sheet here. So this is where we've listed the website and phone number for All Savers, for Healthiest You, for Principal. There's different websites and phone numbers for Principal, dental versus vision versus life. We've got the information here for Magellan. The travel assistance, you do have travel assistance available to you because of Principal's products. And then there's information at the very bottom for both me and for Amy. So if you need to contact any of the carriers or us for any questions, you can do so. Now we'll update the group number for All Savers as soon as we submit the case with all of your elections. We can update that later, and that will be in the benefit guide that's in ease as well. The last thing, and it's just a mention, so these are the compliance notices that we said we would be putting at the end. So we've got all kinds of notices that you can go through Medicare Part D and all types of things. The healthcare marketplace notice. So those are notices that that you can access if you were to need them. All right. Do we have any questions
Lauren, I think one question came in that I addressed via chat.
Okay.
Brian had asked a question about, can an existing health savings account or HSA be used with the new plan? So that question was answered through chat, but to simplify, if you have a health savings account that was from a prior employer, usually that's where it came from, then as long as you have the account number and routing number and that account is still active, you can, if you elect the HSA medical plan, you can get contributions from Lessen, that $250 per year divided by your pay periods or the monthly amount. And then you can also contribute towards the HSA as well. So Alex just had a question come in as well. Our current insurance has a $25 copay for mental health or to see a counselor or psychologist. This is actually a pretty exciting update for that question. Lauren covered Healthiest You. That's the telemedicine option, and Healthiest You actually has telephonic or virtual behavioral health visits that are free. So there would be no copay if you did the virtual route through one of the Healthiest You providers. But to your question, if you wanted to go to an in-person specialist or doctor that's more for mental health or counseling, those types of things, then a copay would typically apply on these plans as well. The exception would be the health savings account plan, because there are no copays for doctor's office visits on that plan. But definitely, I would take advantage of the Healthiest You option and do it virtually for free. I was going to share my screen really quick too, just in case people didn't see this. Yesterday, you should have received an email that looked like the screen that I'm sharing. Is it pulling up, Lauren?
Yeah, I can see it.
So you should have received this email yesterday. The subject was Lessen, May 1st of 2021, open enrollment in E starts today. So that came through yesterday. If you did not get that email, please check your personal email. Most of you, it would have went to your Lessen email, and also check your junk or spam. But we haven't really heard anybody not getting it. There are always a few people that might not get it. So please reach out to Amy Boyson if you did not get that email. That's where you'll go into the system and make all of your benefit elections. You would just click on login down on the bottom, and then that's going to take you, once you enter your, then you would enter your credentials on this screen. If you're creating your credentials for the first time, obviously create a password, and then it takes you through all of the enrollment steps. And as Lauren shared, it's very intuitive. It's going to share, a lot of the detailed plan summaries as well as the costs for the plans live as you go through. So as you can see, like on this scenario, it shares, this person or this fake employee, I guess I would say, what their cost would be. And then you could, I want to add my spouse to the plan. I want to add my children to the medical plan. And you can easily see on the right-hand side how it's going to affect your per pay period deduction. So I wanted to show that. And then I guess we'll just one final call for questions, if any have come in before we wrap it up.
Oh, I do want to mention too,
Go ahead.
a lot of people will say, oh, the system's open until April 2nd, so I have plenty of time. Okay, don't do that. Because so many employees, they put it off and then they forget what we talked about and they forget to go and enroll, and then it's this mad scramble at the end. So the faster everyone can get all of their information and elections made, the faster we can actually submit to the group. Because if we're missing one person's elections, every single person is not going to have coverage until that one person finishes and we can get the group submitted. So the faster you can get your information submitted, the better, just because this is a new carrier. And so you're not going to have a medical ID card until the group is submitted and approved and put into their system. So we want everybody to have their ID cards as quickly as possible. So don't be the person that waits until, or, till April 2nd or forgot by then. And, just get on this as quickly as you can and get us any questions that you have so that we can get this done as fast as possible.
And then one other thing, well, thank you, Lauren, for doing a great job covering a lot of information in a short period of time. And kind of to Lauren's comment of everyone has skin in the game. Obviously, changing to United Healthcare All Savers, it is in essence a new insurance carrier. So there's a lot of processing and paperwork related type of administration that goes on behind the scenes. So everybody does have skin in the game and making sure they go in and make their benefit elections before open enrollment closes. And on more of a personal side, but also fast forwarding to your benefits renewal next year, everyone has skin in the game if you're enrolled in these benefit plans. And part of the reason why we were able to negotiate lower rates, lower deductibles with these new plan options for this open enrollment was because the past 12 months or close to 12 months, most of Lessen's employee population was pretty healthy. And I think that's a really important thing to leave you with, is that making healthy choices will impact next year's renewal. So if all of a sudden everybody, was using the emergency room and just using the plan without the thought process that they have skin in the game, then the renewal next year might not look so favorably. There's going to be some exciting things you'll learn more about with regards to wellness initiatives, actually some incentives that you can earn that are going to be rolled out through this upcoming plan year. So we encourage you to just be mindful of taking care of your health. That way you're the best family member, you're the best employee, and you're usually the happiest when you're healthy and making healthy decisions. So we encourage you to focus on your health as a priority. And if you have any questions or concerns, we are all here to support you through this benefits open enrollment and ongoing.
Awesome. I don't think we have any other questions, and we've gone down to 9+ people, so I think we'll kind of close this down. So
Perfect.
I just want to say thank you to Brent. Thank you, Lauren, for your time today and explaining everything. My final thing was going to reiterate what you already said, Lauren, is please don't wait till the last minute to enroll in your benefits. So thank you for saying that. And if anyone has any questions, I'm always available. There's a page already devoted to this in Notion. It's in big red letters, open enrollment. There's a whole step-by-step process, including some screenshots that I took while I went through my enrollment process through EASE, so you can kind of see step-by-step how that process looks. So thank you, everyone, for your time today, and have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.